Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be creating a simple dashboard mobile app, basically a user interface. So it is basically a front end. We are using HTML and CSS. Yes, so we'll have our home button, a header, then first content, this one, this ones, and then we'll have some other cards, and then we'll be having some bars, some bars, which will be showing us our percentages. And then when we click this profile, it will take us to our profile page. You see the hovering button, hovering animation, and then we'll be having some messages under. And then when we click this, it takes us back. Alright. Okay, so to begin with, we create our folder which name is dashboard app, and then we also create a folder inside called assets. Now in this asset we'll have our CSS file and then some 3 images. You can download these images on the web or maybe Chrome. Just search for the same size, and then now CSS will have our style here. So let's open them in the Visual Code, and then let's start everything. So we need to create an index page. So index.html, and then in our assets you come to the CSS and create another file, new file. We'll call it style.css. Okay, so in our HTML, let's start. So we change this, so if you want the shortcut to what I did before this thing come, you press shift 1, and then when the exclamation mark comes you click tab, and then everything will come. So let's change the title to dashboard. Dashboard.com. That will be our domain name. Now let's link our CSS file before we forget. So link CSS, and then let's change the direction. So full stop slash, sorry, let's do slash. Oh, okay, so our asset is now assets, and then the CSS, and then the style. Okay, now let's go to the CSS, the style sheet, and then give it a common rule. So let's give a margin 0, give a padding 0, and then we give a list style of none. Then let's also give it a text decoration none, and then box sizing border box. Okay, now we'll be using a Google fonts. So let's open our browser and search Google. As you can see, Google fonts. You click the first link, and when you click the first link you go here, the font, and then you search for Poppins. Okay, so it has been already selected for us, as you can see. So let's click on the import, and then come here. We copy this to our CSS file. So let's copy this, Ctrl C. Let's come back to our CSS, and then on top of this we'll paste it here. Alright, let's save, and then we come back again. We copy the family, so let's copy this one, then we paste it here. Alright, so let's bring them forward. Okay, now let's give some functions so that we can call them. We declare some variables here. So we'll have our roots, and then in our root we'll be having a text color. Now the text color is going to be RGBA 255. And then we close it. Alright, so this is the color we are going to get, and let's call another one again. We'll give a second color. We'll have hashtag 313 then 8. Let's close it. Okay, and then we'll have another one again, which is other. Let's just name it other. This one will be other colors, so let's just name it other. And then hashtag ff7d1f. Let's close it. So this is going to be the color. Let's come down again. Let's give last one our icon color. Let's give it RGBA. It is quite similar to this one. So 255. Zero 0.486. Let's close it. Okay, now let's start seeing everything appearing. So let's call our body. So body, let's give it a height of 100 VH. Height 100 VH. And then we give it a background. Hashtag 1C 1E24. Okay, so this be our body. So now let's open our mobile emulator. I'm actually using Ceylon, so you can go to the extensions here. When you click, so you search for mobile view Ceylon, this one. Let me open it and show this how it is, and then you install it if you don't have it. Alright, so let me come here. Let's just take this thing off. Okay, so I normally use iPhone 8, so now we'll need to put the local host here. So we go live. This is how to open it and then view it. Now let's wait for it to go live. Okay, so we come and copy it. Now we close this thing. Let's open it again. iPhone 8, Control V. Alright, so it comes here. Okay, so let's split it to left, and then bring this HTML and CSS back. Close this thing. Then let's close this thing. Now let's see if this thing is actually working. So let's just change the color to red and see. Red. Okay, so it is working. So let's go back to our normal color. Okay, so this is our main background color. Let me bring it up a little bit. Okay, so this is our main background color. Okay, so now let's go back to the HTML and start everything. we are actually going to start everything. Okay, so let's go back to the HTML. So let me zoom in. So in our body, we'll have our first section. So this will be the content section. Content. This is actually a comment, so that we can know where we are going, so that other programmers too can also read it. So in our content, we'll have a section, and then we'll give this section ID. I like to give short names, so account, and then we'll come down, and the account ID will be having a div class called home button. So home, so home button, home btn, and then the home button will have a Google icon. So let's go back to our browser and then come here, icon. Alright, and then we search for home. Let's scroll down. There's this one I actually like. I like this one. Okay, so it gives us this. So let's copy this thing into our HTML head. Okay, copy. Now let's come here and give a comment. So Google icon. We come here, Alt Shift down, then we open it and then we paste it. Okay, and let's go to our browser again. Then we come to this one, we copy this, and we paste it here. Okay, so let's see if it actually came. Let's go and change the background color again and see if it actually came. So let's give it still red and see. Red. Okay, so as you can see, it is in. Okay, so let's bring this thing back. Okay, now in the div, in the ID content, we also have a P, a text. So we put it in a P, which will be hello Joe. Hello Joe. Then we also have another div class called balance. So balance. And then in this div class, we'll have another class called profile. So profile. Now in this profile, we'll call an image and then put it in a link. So let's do it. ahref. So let's call our image. So let's go to assets. So this is our image profile. Sorry, this profile would actually take us to the profile page, which has not yet been done. So let's put a hashtag here and then we close it. So let's call the image rather here. So img, and then let's call it so assets, and then our profile jpg. Let's close it. Okay, so as you can see, it is showing here. Now we'll need to reduce it, but let's finish everything before we go to the CSS. So we come down under the profile class. We also have another class called test. And then in this class we'll have a P. your balance. You actually want to put it in a capital letters, your balance. Okay, then we have a h4 tag, h4, and then we'll put a dollar sign in front, 23,900.00. Okay, let's save. When we scroll down in our mobile view, we will see it. It is too big, don't worry, we will do it. So now I think we are done with this section, so let's go to the CSS. Let's go back to the CSS as we are in the CSS so that we can start everything. So let's start with the first name, which is the count. It's an ID. So let's come back to the HTML and copy this ID count. Copy. We bring it here. Since it's an ID, we start with a hashtag. And then let's give it a margin of 7 pixels. 7 pixels. Okay. Now let's call our profile image. We need to scale it. So let's save this. Our profile image, this profile. Let's copy it, bring it to the CSS. Now let's give it a height of 6 VH. Sorry, 8 VH. 8 VH. This will be a height. Let's bring this thing back here so we can see. So yes, so as you can see, it is here. Then we give it a border radius. A border radius of 30 pixels. Okay. So as you can see, everything is actually looking well arranged and then nicely. So let's also give it another. Let's give it a border. Let's give it 2 pixels. Solid. And then we call the variable, this color, the text color. So text color. Alright. So now let's go back and then design everything, the letters. As you can see, this text, there are text here. Yes. Let's go back and then do those things and then. So under the content, we will come back under it and then our home button. Let's come and copy our home button. Our home button. We paste it and then let's call this the icon name, the Google icon, and then we paste it. Okay, so let's give it a color and then we call the variable. Let's give it the other. Okay, so as you can see, it is showing here. Under that, we call our P, and then give it a margin top. Margin top, let's give it 3 pixels. We give it a color. Let's call the variable and then we'll give it a text color. Okay, now we give it a font width. Let's give it a font width of 400 and then we give it a font size. Let's give the font size of 28 pixels. 28 pixels. Okay, now let's come to the balance. Let's save this. Okay, now our balance, we copy it, copy, then we paste it here. So full stop, our balance. Let me scroll up. Okay, so in our balance, let's give a margin top of 6 pixels, 6 pixels, and then we give a display flex. Okay, and let's give a padding top. Let's give it 8 pixels, 8 pixels, and then padding button also. So let's just alt shape down and then just change this thing to button, 8 pixels. Now let's give it a background color. The background color, our background color, let's call the variable and give it second color. Okay, now let's give a border radius. Let's give 10 pixels, and then we give a margin button, margin button. Let's give it 1 rem. Alright, now let's attack the profile. So let's just copy it here, and then in the profile, let's give a padding left. Let's actually give it a padding left. So padding left, and then we'll give it 14 pixels. Let's delete one of the full stop here. Okay, alright, so we can see everything very well. Our padding left. Now let's give a padding top, 7 pixels, and then let's give cursor, we make a pointer. Alright, we still need to make these things look nice. Alright, so when we zoom back, this is how it actually looks like. Alright, so let me zoom in again and then scroll up. We would have to design everything, so now let's make a hover for the profile image, so when it is being hovered. Okay, so we paste it here and then hover. Let's give it border of 1 pixel, 1 pixel solid. Then let's call this variable and give order. Okay, so as you can see, right now let's make the transition 4 seconds, 0.4 seconds. So transition, we'll give it 0.4 seconds, or ease. Let's make it ease in and out, so you see. Alright, now let's come down and then attack our test. So test, let's just come and copy it so we don't get any. So test, we copy it, and then our test, let's give it a color. Let's call the variable and give it a test color, and then we give it a padding left of 20 pixels. Alright, and then our test p, we'll give it a font size of 12, 12 pixels, and then we give it a color. Let's give it other. Let's call the variable order. Alright, now let's attack the h4 tag. So h4, then let's give it a font size 19 pixels. I think we actually made a mistake here. Let's come back and then correct it. This is 23, not 20, not at. So and then let's give it the color. We call a variable and give it the text color. This text color. Alright, and then we give it a font weight of 300. Okay, so yes, everything is designed very well. Now we are done with our balance, our first content. So let's go to our second section. Okay, let's come here. Then this section is achievement. Now let's all shift down. This achievement will have a section ID. Section ID called achieve. I like to give shorter names, so achieve. Okay, and then you need to have a header which will be achievement, and then we'll have a div class called achieve content. So let's make it account, and then in this div class we'll have another class called icon. We'll be having some icons, so icon. Now in this icon class we'll be having some icons, so let's copy this. I actually know most of the Google font icon, so I just need to only change the name and then it will work. So let's copy this one, but if you don't know, you can still go back and search for what you want and then just paste it. The thing with Google icon is if your internet is not on, the icons will stop and then this particular words will be coming. That's why most people don't use the Google icons, but I find it very easy to use. So let's paste it here. So as you can see, it is showing here, and then the name for this one is, the name for this particular one would actually be home logo. So we are actually going to use the same thing, the home app logo, and then under it we'll have a h6 tag. So under this, let's have a h6 tag, and then this will be 1 week streak. Let's make this streak, 1 week streak. Alright, so under this div we'll have another div again called icon 1. Let's make it icon 1 because we're having 3 icons. So icon 1, and then in this div let's paste this icon and then change the name. If you, as I was saying, if you don't know it, you can actually go back to Google Fonts and then look for them, but I know it, so recommend. So this is the name, recommend. It shows. Alright, and then we will have h6 tag called 2 week streak. So let's just copy it copy the same thing. So Alt Shift Tab. Now we have our 3 icons here. Alright. Now what we need to do is we'll go to our CSS, and then so let's also give the comment here so that we don't get confused. This is our achievement. Achievement. Let's go back to this one, and then this is our content, so that it can be easily to identify where we are. So this is our content. Okay. All right, now let's come down. Now in our achievement, let's call the ID first. So this ID, achieve, we call it, we copy it and then we paste it. And then let's give it a margin of 7 pixels. And then we come down and then let's copy the let's paste the achieve header. So hashtag and then our header. Let's give it a margin button of 5 pixels, and then we'll give it a color. Let's call this variable. So the color we are going to use test color. Okay, let's come back and then make this thing a capital letter. Okay, now let's give it a font size of 13 pixels. Alright, and then let's come and copy the arc content. We copy this, Control V. Now in this arc content, let's give it a display flex, and then let's give it justify content center. Alright, I hope you can see it because they are here. So now they are in a flex style, and then they are in the center. Okay, now let's go to the icon. Let's come and copy it so that we don't make any mistake. Our first icon, now let's give it a border. One pixel solid. Let's call the variable other. Okay, now let's give it a background color. Let's call this variable again. You're also going to give it the other. Okay, so as you can see, now let's give it a margin of 3 pixels, and then we'll give it a width of 40%. And then let's give it a height of 12 VH. Okay, and let's give it a border radius. Let's give it 5 pixels. Okay, now let's do same for the other icons. So let's just copy everything. Copy. And then we change this one to icon 1. I think we need to change this thing. Later I'll come and change this thing to 2. Let's change it to 2. Alright. So with the icon 1, we are going to change the color. The background color, it shouldn't be this. So this is going to be hashtag BFEAB9. Okay. And then we don't need the border. So let's close it. Alright. And then I think we are going to use everything in this. Let's also go to the next one, which is icon 2. We are going to copy the same thing, Alt Shift down, and then change this to icon 2. We are also going to change the color of this. We don't want this color, so hashtag ADF1 FB. Alright. This is also going to use the same rules. Now let's use the the icon content. Let's call it again icon content, and then the icons in it. So the icons in it, the Google icon, which is material symbol outline, and then we'll give it a display flex, and then we'll give it justify content center. Okay, so they are in the center. Now we'll give it a padding of 10 pixels. Okay, now our h6 tag, it is not well arranged, so let's call the arc content, and then our h6, we'll give it a font size 10 pixels. Then we'll give it a display flex, and then give it justify content center. Alright, so it is well looking, just looking nice. Now we need to change this icon. We would actually need to use and then change things here. This is 3 weeks, and then we will change this to let's search for a mobile. So mobile, I want to use a mobile icon. Mobile. I want to pick a certain one. Let's see. Okay, I think we should use this one. So the name is smartphone. Alright, so we come here and then change it. So smartphone, smart. Alright, now we are done with our achievement section. Let's go to the next section, our portfolio. So we come down, give it a comment. So portfolio, then Alt Shift down, and this will be having a section ID. section ID, which is invest portfolio. So invest, give shorter names, and then let's give it POT. In this section we'll be having a header. Let's call the header, and then let's give investment portfolio. Then under this header we'll also have a div class called main content. So main content. So inside this main content we'll be having some different cards. So the first class will be investment card. Now in this investment card, let's delete this thing. In this investment card we have a div class also called investment icon, and then in the investment icon we'll have icon content. So a div class of icon content. Now in this icon content we'll actually be using one icon. So let's copy this. I know the name, so I just copy it and then I paste it here. This is not why I copied. I don't know why it is coming this way. So let's come back again and copy it. Copy, and then alright, and let's change this to add unit. As you can see, it is here. Alright, let's also give another the same another icon under it. So let's copy this, and then under this div paste it, and then let's change this to recommend. That's the name of the icon. Okay, let's close this thing. Okay, now it is closed. And then under this div, this particular div, we will have another div called test, another div class called test. So let's make txt tests. Alright, and then in this test we are going to have a p content, which will be apple. So let me scroll down. As you can see, apple, and then we'll have a h6 tag. Sorry, h6 tag, and let's give it a $sign in front. So 10.404, and let's give it 45%. Alright, so actually because of the background you cannot see it well, so let me highlight it so that you can see it, so that you know that everything is appearing. So later we change the colors and then everything will be visible. Alright, now under this div we'll have a bar, our bar to show our percentage. So Alt Shift down. In this bar, let's just make it a div class. div class bar, and then we'll have another class called space. Okay, all right, so now let's go to our CSS and then design everything well. Oh, the CSS is gone, so let's call it back. Let's close this and then come down, and then this is our portfolio section. So portfolio, all right, so let's start by calling the ID. So this ID, let's come the investment portfolio, we call it, bring it to the section, then we paste, and then we give it a margin of 7 pixels. Now let's call it let's call the main content. So this main content, we come here, paste it, we'll give it a display flex, and then justify content. Oh, I think we should give it a flex wrap. Now what flex wrap actually does is, it's when the screen, when the items in the screen, when the items in the screen are too big, and then the screen is opening or reducing, it's help fit, so the things don't pop out, they just arrange themselves nicely. So we give it a flex wrap, and then we'll call it wrap. This makes the item arrange very well. So let's say in case this cards, if they were supposed to be big, and then knowing that it would push the web page to the other side, since we've given it a flex wrap, it will put this one down, so it looks very well arranged. So that's what the flex wrap does. It's a very cool function. Okay, so now let's go to the investment header, this header. So we come here, hashtag, let's copy this investment pot, and then so the investment pot header, let's give a margin, let's actually make it a margin button. Now let's give it 7 pixels. Let me scroll down so that you can see. Alright, 7 pixels, and then let's give it a color. Let's call the variable, and then we'll give it a text color. Okay, and then we also give a font size of 12 pixels. Let's make it 13 pixels. Okay, notice it is changing. This is the header, investment portfolio. Alright, so we are done with that one. Now let's come to the investment card, this card. So investment card, let's save. With the investment card, we give it a background color, and then we call our variable, and then we'll give it a second color. Alright, and then we also give it a width. I'll give it a maximum content, and then we'll give a border radius of 10 pixels, and then we also give it a height of 20 vh. Height 20 vh, and then we'll give it a margin of 5 pixels. 5 pixels. Okay, now let's tackle the investment icon. Let's copy this. Copy. With the investment icon, let's give a padding of 3 pixels. Let's give a padding left. Let's give 5 pixels. I'll give a display flex. And then we'll give a gap of 3 points, let's say 8 rem. Okay, that looks cool. Then we'll give a color variable, then we'll give it the icon color. Alright, now let's call the same investment icon, and then investment icon, and attack the material symbol, the first one. So let's come back, then material symbol outline. Let's give it a font size of 35 pixels. 35 pixels. Okay, now we'll give it a margin top, of 8 pixels, and then we'll give it a margin left. Margin left, let's also give that one 4 pixels. 4 pixels, and then we'll give it a color of this. So let's call our variable and give it a text color. Text color. Okay, now let's continue. We are still not done. So now let's attack our text. I think this thing don't have to be in the same shape, but don't worry, we'll attack it later. So let's attack our text. TST, and then let's give a margin left. A margin left of 4 pixels. Then let's attack our text P. Now our text P, let's give it a color. Call this variable text color. Okay, and give it a font size of 14 pixels. 14 pixels. A font size of 14 pixels. Let's call our text H6. our text axis, let's give it a color. We'll call our variable, we give it the icon color. Okay, and then we'll give it a font weight. Let's give it 200. Also give it a margin button. Let's give it 2 pixels. Okay, now let's attack our bar, this bar, okay, so we call it bar. Then we give it a height of 1 vh, height 1 vh. We give it a background color, the variable, the icon color, and then we'll give it a margin left. Margin left, we give it 7 pixels, and then all shift down. This should be margin right. Okay, so our margin right is 7 pixels. Now let's also give a border radius of 5 pixels. 5 pixels. Okay, now let's call the bar space, so bar space. Now let's give it a background color. Let's call our variable and give it order. Height show fit content, so fit content, and then we'll give it a padding of 3 pixels. Padding 3 pixels. Okay, let's give it a width. We're actually going to use the width based on the percentage we give. This is 45%, so let's give it 45%. All right, 45%. Now let's change the border radius. Let's give it 5 pixels. Okay, let's reduce it a little bit. Let's make it 2.5. All right, so it stays in it. Okay, so now we would also be having other ones, bar space 1 and then bar space 2. But before that, you realize these icons are the same, and then this icon has to be a little bit lighter than this one. So we made a mistake here. Let's go up, and then this our investment icon, it should actually be this one, icon content, so that it would actually work basically on only this icon, this particular one. So let's come back and then we paste it here. Sorry, let's copy it again. I think it didn't copy, so Control C, then we paste it here, then we save. All right, so you notice how. Okay, so now let's do the next cards. Later we'll just go and copy and paste them. So this is our bar space. Now let's copy our bar space and then change some things. Okay, let's name this bar space 1, bar space 1. Now bar space 1 will have a variable, the background color variable, fit content, and then the padding, and then the width. I think it will have the same thing, and then also border radius. So let's just come here, let's zoom out so that we can see it very well. Let's zoom out so we can see it very well. So with this one, so we are going to copy everything here. This investment card, we are just going to duplicate it. So Alt Shift down. So you see how it works. Okay, and then we copy it 4 times. So we copy the same thing to here. Alt Shift down. So we have 3. Now we have 4. Okay, so everything is appearing here. Let's give space so that we actually know. Now we would need to change some things. Okay, so let's start changing things here. Where's the first one? So this is our first one. Okay, this is our first one, and then this is our second one. Now with our second one, we will name this thing. This is our second one. So let's zoom in, and then we are going to name this. This is not going to be Apple no more. It's going to be freelancing. Okay, and then we are going to change the price to 22, and then we are not going to make it 45. We are going to make it 20. Okay, 20, and then we are changing this to, this is no more bar space, this will be bar space 1. Okay, and then we come to the other one. This one will be Bitcoin. This will be Bitcoin, and then the amount also changed to, let's give it $7, and then we give it 5%. This will be space 2. Alright, now let's change the last one. Our last one is going to be e-commerce. Then we are going to change it to 70. And let's give it 85%. And change the space to space 3. Okay, so now let's come to our CSS. I'm going to copy the same thing, Alt Shift down. We'll change this to space 2. This is 20%, so let's just, the width, let's make it 20%. Okay, you see now it's 20%. Space 2 is 5%, so 5%. And then our last one, which is the space 3, Alt Shift down, space 3, let's give it, this is 85%, so 85%. Alright, so we are done with our first page. Let's go up. We have our home, our hello Joe, our balance content, and then our achievements, and then these cards. Now let's go to our profile page. So let's save everything. This is 85, sorry. Okay, let's zoom it back a little bit. Alright, so this is how it looks. Okay, now let's come back to our dashboard, and then we are creating our dashboard. Let's create a new file called profile index. So profile.html, sorry, html. Why? Okay. All right. So with this one, this is going to be our next page, and then we are going to use the same rules here. So let's come to the index and then copy some of, so let's copy this to the body. Let's paste it here, and then yes, so we'll be using the same things. So let's close the body, and then the HTML. Now let's go and link it to this one, our profile image. So inside our profile image, we had this tag. Now we can link it, so give it profile HTML. So now when we click on this image, it will take us to the profile image, our profile page. So you see, we are in our profile page now. There is no way to go back, but don't worry. So let's work on it so that we can press something and then go back. So let's start with our first content. Let's close this thing. This will be our first content. Okay. In our first content, we'll be having a section ID called first content. Let's close it, and then in this ID we'll have a div called top, just top, yeah. And then we'll also, now we'll give a link so that I can take us back to our index HTML. So let's give it a h tag, sorry, a anchor tag href, and then our index, sorry. Okay, now in this now let's come here. We'll use an icon. So let's just copy one of this and then change the name, since I know the name. If you don't know, as I said, you can go back to the web browser, Google icons, and then change the name. So the name of this one would actually be arrow underscore back. So you can see, so when we click on it, it takes us back to our index, and then when we click on our profile, it takes us to the profile page. All right, so under this anchor tag, we'll have a p called a p tag profile. Let's make this thing capital, our profile. Now we'll put our profile image here. So our profile image, alt shift down, we'll give our profile image a div class of proof, just proof, and then we'll give it image search, image src, and then this is where our profile is. So our profile.jpg, that's the name of the our image. We close it, and then under it we'll have a Peter called Joe Edwards. Also have an h6 tag, and then we'll give it @ so this is the user's handle, Marvin underscore ed. Okay, now let's go to our CSS and then design everything. So we'll start with our profile page. So this is our profile page. So oh god, let's just okay, so let's call our first content this one. Which is our first content. I think it should be content, not, sorry, I'm not in the profile index. So let's go to here now. So let's go to our CSS, and then this is an ID, so we paste it here, and then we'll give it a margin 7 pixels. Now let's attack the top. So the top class, let's give it a color. We are going to give the top class a color. Our color, let's make it, let's call the variable. So variable, and then our variable, we are going to give it this test color. Okay, and then our top A, our anchor tag, let me come up a bit. Okay, our anchor tag, we'll give it a color, also give it the variable, and then give this the test color. Now we'll give it I think the top, sorry, I made a mistake here. This is actually display flex. Let's give it display flex, and then give it a gap of 5.5 rem. Okay, so then our top A rather, we'll give it a padding 3 pixels. Let's make it top, padding top 3 pixels. Okay, and then our top P, we'll call color, and then same variable, we'll give it test color, then we'll give it a font size of 16 pixels, font size 16 pixels. Now let's call the icon. So top material, to your outline. We'll give it a font size of, let's make a 21 pixels. Okay, then let's also give a transition so that when it is being hovered, a transition of 0.3 seconds or ease. Alright, so let's just do the hover button, the hover animation. Copy this, we paste, hover. Now let's give it a color variable. Let's give it this color, the other. So as you can see, when we click, it takes us to our main page, and we click our profile page. Alright, now let's do our profile image. So this is our profile image. Now with our profile image, let's call the profile first. So this one, we copy it, we bring it to the CSS, then we paste it. Now let's give it a margin top of 1 rem. Then we'll give it text align. We take it to center. Let me zoom in. Text align, we take it to center. And then profile image, our profile image, we give it a height of 15 VH. Okay, and then let's give it a border radius. A border radius of 50 pixels. Sorry, 50. Okay, now our profile P, we'll give it color. We are going to call the variable and give it a text color. Okay, and then we'll give it a font size of 14 pixels. So font size 14 pixels. Okay, font size 14 pixels. Then let's call our profile H6. So profile H6, we'll give it a color. Let's call the variable and give it the icon color. Let's reduce the font weight. So font weight, let's make it 300. Alright, now you notice our header is not in the middle, so let's work on that one. Let's come back. Is it our header? Let me check the name. This P, yes, it's not a header, it's a P. So this P is for the top P. Where's the top P? So the top P font size. So let's make it, let's just 5.55 RAM. Still not working. Okay, let's leave it and come back to it later. Okay, alright, let's give a padding left and see something. Padding left, let's give 5 pixels. Okay, so it is going, so let's increase it. We made it 10 and then it is in the middle, so it is okay. Now let's come and continue. So we are at our profile H6. Now we are done with our profile H6. We are done with our profile. Now let's go to the next contents. We should come to the HTML. Our HTML. Our next section is going to be the second content. So second content. Now in this second content, we are going to have a section ID called sec content. Sec. We'll close it. Now in this section, we are going to have a div class called number card. I'm going to make the first one active, so let's give it active. Let's finish this one. Okay, this one will be an active card, so let's just make it active. And then in this div we are going to have a p tag. We'll give it 32, and then we'll have a h6 tag, and we'll give it posts. Okay, now we'll close the div. Under this div we also have another div called the num card. So we are actually going to copy and paste this one, so Alt shift down to 3. Okay, so these ones are not active. They are not active. We actually need only 2 in addition, so let's delete this one. Okay, and then we change this to, this is 32 posts, and then 45,000 followers, 45,802, 45,482, 482. This is followers. Now we change this to 256, and then we give it subscription. Alright, this section, this is the end of this section. Let's just close it. So second content, this is where it ends. So now let's copy the ID and then go to the style. Hashtag, paste the second content. With this second content, we are also going to give it a margin of 7 pixels. So margin, we'll give it 7 pixels, and then we'll give it a margin top of 1 rem. Let me scroll down so that you can see it well. 1 rem. Okay, we'll give it a display flex. Okay, And then the number card, this is number, I don't know why this should be number card, number. So let's copy any of them. Number card, let's save. It's a class name, so number card, let's give it a background color. Go variable, let's give it a second color, and then we'll give a padding top of 10 pixels. We'll also give a width of 50%. Then we'll give a height. Let's make a 11 VH. 11 VH. And then we'll give a border radius. Border radius. Let's make a 5 pixels. 5 pixels. Make a cursor pointer. And then give a transition so that when it is being hovered, so transition 0.4 seconds is all is in and out. Okay, and then we'll give a margin. Let's make it 3 pixels. Okay, now let's call our active. So our active will have a background color of this background color, hashtag 70 DA 62. Okay, let's give it a color. We call variable second color. All right, now num card, this one, let's copy it. I'm going to make a hover animation, so hover, and then let's make a background color. I'll call the variables and give it other, so when it's being hovered. Okay, now the same num card again, we'll be having the P and the H6. Let's give it let's give it a text align, and then put it center. Okay, then we'll give it color and call the variable and give it the text color. Okay, we'll give it a text color. Then the num card P, let's just copy this one. Give it a font size of 15 pixels. 15 pixels. And then we call our num card H6. And then we'll give it a font width of 300. What you are doing when you are saving, so you can see everything changing. So our font size is going to be 9 pixels. Alright, so everything is looking nice. So we are done with our cards. Let's go to the next section, which is our last section. So we go back to our profile, and then we come here, our last section. So now our last section, we'll have a section ID. And this section ID will give a post, and then in this ID we'll have a div class called heading. In this heading class we'll have a header, let's write posts, and then we'll have our H5, which is sorting. Then we'll close our div, this div. Now come down, let's give another div class of post content. So post content cnt. In this post content we'll have a div class called post content profile. So post content profile. Then we'll have an image src. Now we are going to use our profile image. Okay, now let's close it. And the same div, we'll have another div class called post name. So post name, and then in the post name we'll have a p tag, Joe Edward. And then we'll have an h6 tag. Let's give 5 minutes ago. So 5 minutes ago. Okay. Now we come back, and then under these two divs we'll give a p again. We'll write but $300 of Apple. Then we'll have another div class called post content icon. So post content icon. In this div we also have another class called content icon. Content icons. Let's give this one icons. Okay. And then in this content icons we'll have a div class again. We call it stable, and then we'll copy one icon. Let's copy. Okay, we bring it here in the stable class. we paste it, then we'll put a p tag. So p, we give it 12. Okay, so everything is actually showing but the color. So like you can see, and we scroll down, see. All right, now we'll be having 3 icons. So under this one, paste 1, then 2, so it is 3. The second icon is actually SMS. Then the last one is send. Okay, let's see. All right, now let's go to our CSS and then design everything. So we are going to start from the top, which is the ID, our posts. So this is the post content. So posts, and then we call a hashtag, we paste it, then we give it a margin of 7 pixels, a margin top, we'll give it 1 rem, then the heading, let me scroll up, then bring this one up. Okay, and then let's give a margin button again, margin button, 5 frame. Okay, now the heading, this heading, copy it, then we give it display flex, then we'll give it a color variable, give it text color, text color. We also give a gap of 11.5 rem. Alright, now the heading, same heading again, we call the header, then we'll give it a font size of 20 pixels. Alright, then the same header, we call the H6, and then give it a margin top. Margin top of 8 pixels. Then font weight of 200. Let's give a color. I think this is H5. Let's see. That's why nothing is happening. H5, not H6. Alright, so we'll give it a color. Let's call the variable and give it the other, and then call the post content. So the post content, now the post content, you are given a margin top of 12 pixels, and then background color, let's give it this variable, second color, and then padding left, we give it 12 pixels. To make sure everything is happening, let's attack our image so that we know what is going on. So let's come down, and then let's copy this one. Copy, post content profile, the image, our height, we'll give it 7 VH, and then we'll give a border radius, let's give it 12 pixels. 12 pixels is actually not working, so let's make it 20. Okay, so now our image is looking well, and then we can see everything. So let's go back to our post content and then continue. Alt shift down, we'll attack the right, okay, and then also attack the top. So top, alright, padding top, and then let's also give a border radius. So border, we'll give it 5 pixels. Alright, now let's go to the post content profile. Let's copy this, copy, and then we'll give it a display flex, let's give it a margin bottom of 10 pixels. Okay, margin button of 10 pixels. Now let's come under the profile image. We have another class name called post name. Our post name, let's give it a height, a margin left of 12 pixels. Then our post name h6, let's make sure it is h6. Okay, h6. So post name h6, and then we'll give it a font weight of 200. I'll give it a color. I'll call the variable and give it icon color. Now test align, we'll make it left, post name h6. Alright, let's call our post name P. Let's give it a font size of 12 pixels. Font size 12 pixels. We'll give a font weight of 300. Alright, and then our post content icon, this one, let's come back to the CSS and make sure everything is okay there. Yes, so our post content icon, let's copy this post content icon. Let's put a full stop in front. We'll give a display flex and then justify content. We'll make it center. Okay. Then our content icon, this one, copy. We'll give a display flex to display flex, and then we'll give a gap of 16 pixels. And then margin bottom 8 pixels. 8 pixels. Alright, let's continue. Now we are going to attack this one, our post content icon. This is our post content icon. And then let's call our icon, so material symbol outlined, that's the name of the icon, the Google icon. Font size, give it 20 pixels. Alright, so these things, we would want them to be thick, but don't worry, we will fix that thing later. We would also change this is supposed to be a heart icon, not an arrow, so we'll come back and then fix everything. Now let's attack our stable. Let's give it a color, then variable, we'll give it other. Other. You know, why don't we change it now? So let's go back to our Google fonts and then search for hat. And then when we choose the hat, we come here and then fill. We do it like this, we make it this way, then we click it, and then we come and copy this one rather. Sorry, copy this one. And then we come here in our profile, we exchange this one. Okay, so Control V. Let's make sure it is well copied, so we copy it. Control C. I'm making some mistakes. Copy. Let's just delete this and then Control V. Okay, now let's come down here and change the icons. So this is not arrow back. This is favorite. As you can see the name here, favorite. So favorite. I think we made a mistake. Okay, it is still not deep, but I'll work on it later. Let's continue. When I'm done, we'll come and fix it. So as table, we give it this color. We are going to also give it a display flex. Display flex, and then we'll give it a gap of 14 pixels. Let's just make it 40 pixels would be wider. So 4 pixels. And now let's call our stable, and then our material outline, we'll give a comma, then the stable p, stable p. Let's give it a color, and then variable order. Okay, then our material outline again, material outline, we'll also give a color, give it a variable, and then this text color. Okay, now there are some things we didn't do here well. So like our post content icon, like this post content icon, it is supposed to be right. RIGH. Alright, and then we were supposed to call our post content p. So post content p, and then we give it a font size of 12 pixels. Okay, and then we also give it, so I think it was this one that we mistakenly took it for the other one. Okay, so this is supposed to be post name, so post name p rather, and then the post name p is supposed to be here under the post name. So we copy this, then we bring it here. Alright, so everything is well arranged. We just need to let this thing float to the right. So we wanted this thing to float right. So this thing was justify self, which shouldn't be that. It should be justify content. So justify content right, and then it actually goes right. So we are actually done with it. We are just supposed to copy this and then paste them. So we come here and then we copy this, the post content div, the whole thing, copy it, and then let's change some things. First of all, let's change the picture. This is not supposed to be, so this is, let's make Anna, and then let's change the name, which is Anna Kiwaski. Let's make it 2 hours ago. Okay, then write this Okay, and then let's copy it again. Alt shift down, give a space. We also change this one to Eva. Let's see. All right, so then let's make this to no 5 days ago. 5 days ago. All right. So with this one, you're saying okay. So we are actually done with all. So let's just change the like numbers. So the first one was actually 12. Now the second one, let's make it, let's say 100. Sorry, this is the last one. Let's make the last one 2000, and then we'll make the second one 100 rather. So 100. All right, so this is the end of our journey. Let me bring it here. This is where we end. Let me zoom in back. Okay, yes, so we are done with our profile page. Now when we click this, it takes us to the main page. And then when we click our profile image, it brings us here. Then we have our messages here. So thank you guys for staying true. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please help subscribe and then give a like, and then comment if you had any issues so that we fix it next time. So yeah, please don't forget to subscribe. All right, thank you.